that with the economy projected of 18 trillion, the monies that have read to the ordinary revenue is only a representation of 14% only. But these are complicated figures. Let me bring them home. The same revenue to GDP ratio in the economies that are very advanced, like OECD countries, is 34%. But those are far away. Let me come to our continent. South Africa is around 25%. Meaning, if we collected revenue the same way South Africa is collecting, this financial year, we will be collecting 4.5 trillion Kenya shillings as revenue in our country. And therefore, it means we will not be borrowing a single shilling. We will actually be retiring debts previously borrowed. But what is it that makes us therefore not correct? Maybe that's a burden. I want to hand over to my brother, the CS. He will tell us. But probably part of the reason is that our economy is hugely informal. And therefore, that is some work to be done by the National Treasury and the KRA so that everyone contributes their fair share. That if we were collecting revenue in South Africa, we will be collecting 4.5 trillion Kenya shillings. We will spend all the money we have budgeted for, and mwisho wa mwaka tuitisha wa Kenya namba ya simu tuwatumie M-Pesa out of our surplus. That is the way it is. As I come to the conclusion, I am an optimistic Kenyan, partly because the factors within our country, God has favored us greatly, because our fiscal policies have worked around agriculture. That is why even our food prices have come down. But I'm also more optimistic with Kenya being part of the global economy. And you know, economics, we say there is nothing absolutely true. It depends with the theory that you're looking at. When I see some jitters in the US about an impeding or issues around the economy, I don't want to be very brutal. That could happen, and especially triggered by the figures around unemployment rates. An impeding recession. As a Kenyan, unfortunately, for our brothers in the US, I think I smile. Because part of the reason why we are where we are in Kenya and the global south is because the US got a lot of inflation out of the COVID money. And therefore they have had to raise the Fed rate for so many times, 11 times consecutively. And they are still very rigid to ease up. So when I see some inflation, some recession fears, I am a bit happy myself, because a fear of recession can only be handled by lowering interest rates. And when the US Fed lowers interest rates, I think I become happier, because when we ease up the monetary policy around the globe and we ease up the monetary policy locally, therefore credit will be more accessible, even government borrowing will be cheaper, and I think we'll be getting out of the situation we are in at a much faster rate. Otherwise, I just want to request, as I conclude, that we must endeavor to implement our budget conclusively, and especially National Treasury, please make sure the budget that we make is not for papers. It is a budget that